Oh, we got a good one this weekend, guys. Live from Ontario, we got Sean Strickland bringing the belt, putting it up against Dricus Du Plessi. My partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook have got one incredible deal for all new customers. Download the DraftKings app right now, sign up using the promo code Sonnen, and you can bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights. You will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, like number of rounds, method of victory, for an even bigger payout. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So click on the link below and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. You guys know Hans? I was talking with Hans. Hans and Strickland are tight. And Hans is just one of the guys very early on when people were getting nervous about Strickland or didn't think you could put him on TV, didn't think you could move him at cards, didn't think you could give him major opportunities because he was trouble. Hans is one of the guys that said, nah, there's more to it. This guy's special. This guy's got a talent. And if this guy really is the best in the world, then he deserves an opportunity to be recognized for best in the world. So I bring that to you because whenever Strickland's fighting, I will often go to Hans. I'll say, hey, what's up, man? Where are we at on this? And Hans has shared a couple of things, and these aren't private, by the way. These aren't private things I'm revealing, but I didn't know them. So he shared them with me. And one of the pieces is that Sean Strickland has been training with Uncle Iev. That's interesting to me. Uncle Iev is great. And he's big. And he's durable. And there's a lot of things about Uncle Iev that remind me of Du Plessis. And then said that he was also, talking about Sean Strickland here, also training with Johnny Eblen. And I mean, what I would give to be in those practice rooms. Had I known that they were sparring together, I would have gone out. I would have taken a camera with me. I would have documented some of that. For a later date, 5 years from now, bring that out. Talk about these training camps. But that's just a very exciting three-way right there. It's a very exciting rotation. And Johnny Eblen does most of his training in Florida. And Uncle Iev stops by Las Vegas, and Sean Strickland. And I don't want Sean getting far away from Coach Nissick. So what I'm hoping, and one piece of information I don't have, I'm hoping that Uncle Iev and Eblen came to Vegas. I'm hoping they came to Sean. I don't love the idea that Sean branched out, and I don't know that he did. As the world champion, likely they came to him. But that's interesting to me, and I'd want to know why. Did they come out specifically for him? Did Sean call? Did Sean call and ask them, will you come, or will they just happen to be in town? That would be a very fascinating piece of this. One thing about Du Plessis, I am beginning to see star written on this guy. He has a demeanor, he has a charm. He's just handsome enough. He's just charismatic enough that, right, I mean, you got to understand, if you get a guy that can get you, right, you need a guy up here to be a star, but he can get himself to here, that world championship will pull him up that extra few feet. If a guy just isn't quite over, he's right there, the crowd sees something, he's got a lot of potential, you put the strap around him, it will pull him up that extra needed few feet. And when I watch Du Plessis, it's impossible to not see that. There is a massive charm, and I also find him to be very sincere and believable. I think Du Plessis is working a character just like all of the stars. I think that. But I buy it. I buy it. And you guys follow pro wrestling? I'll just give you an example of a name that you might know if you watch pro wrestling, but The Miz. The Miz seemed like a really cool guy, but as a badass, I couldn't buy it. I knew he wasn't a badass, but could I buy him pretending and playing a badass? It was a little bit of a miss. It was one of those tough spots. And I only bring The Miz in as a perfect example that I don't know for sure what Du Plessis is doing, but I buy it. Is he mean? Is he a mean person that's mean-spirited? If that's direction he wants to go, I buy it. Is he a skilled guy that's been overlooked and is truly the best fighter in the world? Well, if he can beat Sean Strickland, then the answer to that question is yes, and I buy it. Is he the most confident guy with the secret skills that was held back and relegated to an undercard until he spoke up to get himself in front of Bo Nickel? I mean, do you guys know why I bring that comparison in? Bo Nickel is such an incredibly meaningful part of the rise of Du Plessis. Du Plessis beat Bo Nickel. And he's the only guy to beat him. But he beat him nonetheless. And he beat him pretty easily because Bo didn't know there was a fight going on. He beat Bo by forfeit. They never touched each other. They never even signed a contract to get in there with one another. But there was a fight that was going on, and Bo was too new to the sport to understand that it happened, so it happened all around him. They were on a card together, December 10th, 2022. And Bo was main card. Dricus was undercard. So right there, we're all done talking. We've established and we've proven for sure who in the business is in front of who. Whoever fights later on the card is in front of anyone that goes before them. And there's no mistake. There's no debate at that point. You have all the debates and all of the arguments to get that card placement. Once that's established, we're all done. We have the guy from the undercard that surpassed the guy from the main card. And then he surpassed him in the rankings, then he surpassed him in the opportunity, and he's greatly surpassed him in the earnings. And it's one of those spots that he beat Bo, and it might not have even got any interest. Dricus' argument to get himself onto a main card opposite Darren Till might not have gotten anywhere, might not have gotten any interest had it not specifically been Bo Nickel. And so when I bring that story to you, right, you have a guy that was booked for an undercard who since then has only fought one time. It wasn't even a main event. It wasn't even a main event of a very light card, by the way. And when he returns, going for the World Championship on pay-per-view in a sold-out arena, which was neutral territory in Canada, right? The hardest thing in the world you're going to sell out with your opponent is neutral territory. You either want to be fighting in your backyard or in your opponent's backyard. Neither one of you are fighting at home. That's going to be a hard gate to get. Well, they got it. And it is really interesting. I think Bo's argument to get in there with Chimaev is getting stronger, but it's not there. I think Bo's argument to get in there with Paulo Costa is getting stronger, but it's not there. His ability to get in there with a Jared Cannonier, like, it's getting stronger, but it's not there. Bo to step in with Du Plessis when they were put on the same card just over a year ago and it was already established who's where, and Bo was over the top of him. I mean, it's one of those things where that's the direction. That's the fast track. There's always a fast track to a world championship. There's always a fast track to a main event. There's always a fast track to your opportunities, but you got to find the path. And most guys look down the wrong path. Dricus Du Plessi in a world title shot. Dricus Du Plessi as a main event. Dricus Du Plessi as a pay-per-view attraction. None of that story exists without Bo Nickel. Yep, Bo Nickel is the missing part of this story, and the one that let that go and let that ride and let it go unnoticed is Bo Nickel.